Okay, are we live or not live? It looks like we're live. Still reading is offline though. There we go. Play my own stream and mute it so I can see what exactly I'm dealing with here. Well, the chat is certainly working. And it looks like some of my settings are in. Maybe there's just a stream delay. Well, if there's a stream delay, it's pretty noticeable, so I'm gonna let that roll and see what happens if I refresh, maybe? There we go. There we go. Okay. Hello everybody. It's Bounty, and I'm back for another trek through the dungeon. I haven't played Crawl in forever, and I've actually started playing a little bit more lately. In fact, you know, while I'm at it, I think the best thing to do would be to just pull up my account and show you guys. I've started playing again fairly recently, and a couple things have changed. A lot of things have changed. One of them is that Gozog is new for me, and I love him. Two, Gnolls have been added to the game, and they may be my favorite race right now. As you can see, I've tried to get a win every time I come back for a new version, and then I kind of just leave it be. And I generally do either Minotaur Berserkers, which are mindless melee, or Gargoyle Wizards, in my opinion, mindless mages. But I've had wins with a few different races. But yeah, let's I'm just going to get started going. I don't know how regularly I'm going to stream. My life is not quite so much my own as it used to be. And more importantly, 2 kids, so, you know, busy. But I would love to be able to show off some of the things. The thing I'm most excited about right now is the ice spells that have been revamped. I used to pretty much dislike all ice and barely use them, and now most of their starting spells in the spell bridge is so much more fun to walk up, and with a Gnoll, you're not locked down to any one thing. Tomato. Yeah. Once I get a better schedule going, I'll be more open with you guys about when and how you can follow me, for those of you who like to watch. But I am playing on the Crazy Axe server for the most part of my games, and it's going to be easy enough for you to follow, and I'm happy to follow with you guys in Twitch chat, or more to the point, in a Crazy Act chat, since, you know, that's where it's going to be. But I'm probably not going to restrict myself to only playing when I'm on Twitch, so, you know, there may be times I'm not streaming as these runs continue. I don't know, we'll see. But bottom line, let's get back to the game at hand. For those of you who don't know or haven't played in a while, or pretty much stopped playing the last few years, Gnolls did not used to be what they are now. Gnolls have +8 aptitude to all skills, except the ones they have +6 to. That is better than any race's aptitude to anything ever. But notice at the bottom where there's no way to switch it to manual training. You must train all skills at all times. Period. This has certain pros to it and certain cons. The biggest con, of course, being that anyone with any knowledge of how to play this game will tell you that's a bad idea to... Oh, you know what? I just realized this isn't a bad place. Let's move that over here. Anyone with any knowledge of how you play Crawl well would tell you you don't train all skills at the same time. That's a terrible plan. If you train all skills at the same time, you're going to be bad at all of them, and not particularly good at any one of them. It's way better to be very good at killing stuff and reasonably good at staying alive, so focus on your couple defensive skills and offensive skills, and that's it. This is different for a Gnoll. You can't focus on one skill or the other, which means you're always going to generally not be quite as powerful, especially in the late game, as other races. On the flip side, because of your monstrously good aptitudes, you do get some skill in your chosen thing. So in my case, for example, Ice Magic, gonna learn Ice Magic at a +6 rate, so that's gonna pay off. but that's plus 6 divided by 25, because I'm learning all the other things, right? Now here's the flip side of the flip side, which makes it all better. 1, because you get experience to start with in just a few schools because of your background, I already start with an ice magic of friggin' 6 or 7. So, and a spellcasting 4.9. That's fantastic for a mage. Second, yes, it sucks that I can't put all my experience into the plus 6 school of my choice. But because I'm putting it into every school, it means that I'm going to be modestly good at everything. Gnolls, therefore, are going to be training decently their fighting skill, their stealth skill, their throwing skill, their dodging skill, all at the same time. So whereas my typical blaster caster will have level 12 to 15 ice magic, my Gnoll will only have 9 or 10 at the same time, but will have 6 points in all those extraneous skills. And here's where it gets even more exciting. Because I'm training all weapons, I'm going to be modestly good at using any kind of weapon I come across. So, a Venom Whip, that's fantastic for early in the game. So if I'm going to be, if I come across a good axe, let's say, I don't need to train axes because I'm already going to have plus 5 to axes. And then when I come across a good whip, I don't feel like I don't regret putting skill into the axe school before, because I just switch to the whip. And I just keep... in this manner, I can always stay ahead. Oh, man, that was... Oh, and this is, of course, one of the fun parts of playing a Gnoll. When you level up a skill, boom, 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 every skill levels up at once. Alright, I've been playing pretty sloppy, so let's improve. Of course, I have Frozen Ramparts, so we'll take that. Okazobu's Armor, we'll take that. And Summon Ice Beast, we'll take that. This set of skills is enough to get you through most of the lair, if you're very clever with it. Frozen Ramparts in particular is the first level 3 spell that isn't called Mephitic Cloud, that I feel is on the power level of Mephitic Cloud. And especially since they've nerfed Conjure Flame, it used to be that you could place it on any tile within LOS. Now you can only place it at your feet, and it takes time to get bigger, so it really doesn't do anything unless you cast it twice, which, come on, it's a 3-mana spell that I have to cast twice to even have a shot with. It's just not worth it. But now, yeah, Frozen Ramparts is fantastic, and I'll walk you through how it works shortly. Apparently, back before I was playing, when it was being developed in Trunk, it was even more OP. Okay, yeah, perfect. This is a good opportunity to show. Okay, so we'll hide here. I'm going to begin by casting Okazobu's Armor for extra defense, which I should move over to Z. That's where I like it. And then I'm going to cast Frozen Ramparts, which I will move over to X, which is the letter I'm used to having it on. This turns several tiles, up to several tiles around me, and I don't know that this is roughly the range, but it'll be the nearest tiles, you can't change the location, to ice. And it deals 1d4 damage per turn adjacently as ice attacks all the squares neighboring it. And since it's an ice attack, it can be partially resisted, but it's also icicles or whatnot, so there's an irresistible component. So this snake is taking 1d4 damage from this wall segment, and none from these. Now here's the catch. If I move, my Okazobu's Armor will fall apart, and my ice walls will fall apart. So I am strongly encouraged to stand my ground. But on the flip side, even if I miss, as you can see from the chat, the wall is freezing the adder, and since snakes get slow with cold, boom, he slows down. And look, the next enemy in line comes in, but he's also in range of the walls, so I'm encouraged to just keep standing here and beating them down. One of the things I really like about this is that it strongly encourages tactical play. How far from the hallways are you? Positioning yourself in the halls so that enemies are going to come to you and you don't go to them. And funneling enemies into kill zones. And it does all of this while still providing you, solid damage to make it worth your while. So yeah, here's another situation. I could charge that guy and poison him and probably do just fine. But I can stand my ground and throw a freeze out, And now if he approaches me at any tile, he's going to take damage. But it's going to approach. Enemies aren't that smart. Now he's going to take damage on the way in, and even as I stand in melee with him and attack him, the walls are supplementing my damage. There's been another major change to the game since I last played, and that is that food has been removed entirely. Now, I don't know those of you who have been here longer enough to remember my playstyle, or lack thereof, or whatnot, but I really suck at using food liberally. I was much more the try never... Okay, so I have evade -4 right now. That's unfortunate, because the ring is cursed onto me. We're gonna back off, because there's no way to get these guys near an ice wall. Now they'll be near an ice wall. Now we can cast. I'm much more comfortable fighting them when they're taking passive damage. So, I'm one of those people who has a really hard time ever spending food. And as a blaster caster, it's very hard to get your spells hungerless, so I would always wear Amulet of the Gourmand and go overboard, really, trying to avoid the hunger game. And now that that's been removed from the game and replaced with just a hard stop, you can't waste time because if you do, the game will end, and you will instantly die, I feel much more at liberty to enjoy playing a mage and casting high-level spells, because I only have to worry about castability and mana. I don't have to worry about... If I use a lower-level spell, it will cost less food, and that's better for me. Look at that. All those enemies died in the hallway just trying to reach me. Dagger of Draining. Nah, I don't need it. Well, take it. Might be want to do several quick attacks. But generally speaking, the whip with poison is going to work on most enemies that I need it to work on. So this is interesting. There is a giant temple of gnolls here with a manual of invocations. I don't need invocations to be especially well trained. It's already +9. But that looks like a nice fat pile of EXP. When gnolls are less scary, I'll probably come back here. This red teleporter would force you to be teleported in, and then you'd have to dig your way through and find your way out. Unfortunately, there's a ghost in there of a prior guy who tried that and died, so I'm probably not going to challenge that particular vault till I feel much stronger. Another thing that's changed since the last time I played Crawl a bunch and streamed, etc., was that hidden information is becoming even less liked, which is good, in my opinion. So instead of having there be mysterious doors that you just as a player just have to know to stand there and skip turns until you search and find it, traps and doors as a skill has been removed. All traps are always visible. They trigger when you step on them, but they also often trigger when enemies step on them. Ooh, okay, I'm dying. Okazoba's armor is definitely the right move here, just to reduce my damage intake, and cast a freeze or two to kill him. I don't think going upstairs will be enough to save my life. I think I have to kill him first. And then we'll get out of here. Perfect. Yeah, we can break our ice armor to get out of here. So now, instead, Crawl uses things like this. A visible challenge, and it tempts the player, if you dare go in here, you may, but it doesn't drop you in there by force, nor does it hide how to get in with a hidden door. That Phantom is actually really hard to beat, especially in open air. What would be ideal for me right now is to figure out what my healing potions are, so that in a pinch, I can heal. And I have failed to find them. I found Curing, but I was really looking for healed wounds. Ooh, this is bad. 4 gnolls and a priest. The priest can smite you for about 20 damage at this range. That could be lethal. Let's see if I can lure the gnoll to come upstairs. I cannot. He's using a spear. He'll stand at distance. I don't have anything to zap him with. I'm just going to get out of here. That's a bad engage. Alright, back to this. The priest is below me. Maybe I can convince him to come out. So normally I wouldn't bother with throwing weapons and darts because, you know, they're not going to deal any damage. I would only use them to attract attention. But my gnoll is training in throwing. And everything. So his throwing skill is actually quite reasonable. Or will be anyway. Oh, that's Sigmund. I do not have a disable spell that will work against him. I'm going to take a 1 in 5 shot at getting, the Ice Beast to run interference for me. and then run away. And I'm going to mark this staircase as do not enter, because Sigmund, at this stage, with me having nothing to resist poison, fire, or confusion, will probably kill me. This whole floor is shaping up to be very dangerous. If I find a down staircase, I might skip it and come back to it. Which will be very unfortunate if the Ecumenical Temple is here, since that can spawn on floor 4. But it's a risk I'd rather not take, staying here too long and getting caught out by Sigmund. In fact, let's do... Oh my god, where did you all come from? Okay, we're gonna get out of sight. Okuzobu... This is a good spot. I can fight here. Okuzobus will give me 10 AC. We're gonna pre-freeze the walls and then just start beating up on these guys. Because only a few of them can possibly get into range at once. And yep, they all died thanks to Frozen Rampart. Freezing the walls, baby. Ooh! Now I can deal fire damage, if I need to. With the Hand Axe of Flaming. You know, for ice beasts and the like, who don't really take as much poison damage, but... yeah, ooh, and a trident. I'd like to have a reaching weapon. So this is the downside of playing a Gnoll, if you could call it a downside. Because everything is useful... There, found my heal wounds. And it's, you know, when it comes to the ID game, I definitely recommend using ID scrolls liberally on early potions, because having +1 potion now is going to save your life, and later in the game, you're going to have all the ID scrolls you want. Ooh, let's bring the Gnolls out now. I'm very comfortable with them coming to me. This is a nice hallway to fight in. They've got spears, so they're not going to approach any... oh, perfect. See, he has to come around the corner to attack even with a spear. So I'm going to freeze these walls and stand my ground. And if you don't come to me, I will boomerang you to death. More spell power, I don't know if it increases the damage, but I do know that it increases the duration of freezy walls, so it's definitely valuable. Okay, this floor isn't as scary anymore. I've killed off most of the packs that were scaring me. It's just Sigmund now that makes it scary. And frankly, that's enough. And that Phantom, I guess. I can beat a Phantom, but I just don't want to turn out to be overmatching myself. Okay, I will take on the Sky Beast here, if I can. Sky Beasts can go invisible, but here's a fun fact. Freezy walls don't care. They hit invisible just as well as anything else. So, actually, Sky Beasts tend to be very easy to kill for an Ice Mage. Last staircase? Sigmund was right here. Let's see if he still is. No, doesn't appear to be. Let's attract some attention, bring these guys closer. It was a different pack of Gnolls, apparently, that I was getting last time. We're going to pull you downstairs with us and quickly kill you by yourself. Heal up. Go upstairs. Get the next guy. Pull you downstairs with us. Kill you. Heal up. This overly secure method of trying to clear rooms is not, strictly speaking, necessary for a very powerful character or build, but when you're trying to actually win and not die and being very careful, it's good to know what the optimal way to play is, or the safest way to play is. And this is one of the safest things you can do, is hug the staircases, clear out areas around them, and take things out one at a time, slowly and carefully, with always having a place to retreat to. The next thing I would like to identify, now that I have my heals identified, is my teleports. They're my get-out-of-jail-free cards. They tend to come at reasonable frequency early game, so I'm checking things I have 2 and 3 of instead of things I only have 1 of by my IDing. But, you know, there's no guarantees. And I'm not worried eventually about re-IDing a whole bunch of scrolls. It's just until I hit the point that I have to do that. I'm pretty sure the Ecumenical Temple isn't on this floor at this point. There's only a few places it could still be. Oh, Sigmund. We found him, but I don't think he saw us. Nope, he saw us. We're going to run for it. We're just going to run for it. We can cure out if he confuses us. He did confuse us. I think we cure out of it. We have 3. We can afford to lose 1. I forgot that I had a Ring of See Invisible. That's nice. Alright. Now that we've seen most of this floor, and we still have no means of dealing with Sigmund, we're just going to go to the next floor. It does mean that retreating upstairs is not as secure as it might otherwise have been, but I'm okay with that. Self-freeze, wall freeze, kill everything. So, another reason that I find Gnolls just fun to play, and I don't want to say that they're good or bad. I've only played like... oh, shit! This guy's got electric damage, I'm sure. It's Eustachio. No, not... oh, I'm thinking of Nikola Tesla. No, this guy's just a summon spammer. I can probably kill him. Let's get far enough away that he's not going to just take me out. Now I can run upstairs if the going gets tough. Let's... oh, does he have Abjure? I don't think he has Abjure. He does not have the ability to get rid of summons, so I'm going to summon an Ice Beast to improve my DPS, freeze the walls, and start hucking at him. If he's not going to come any closer, I'll trident him. Again, remember, one of the biggest advantages of being a Gnoll is that I'm trained in everything, which means even this trident that I'm not maining as a weapon at all still has some training behind it. Can I afford to wear this? I do have level 2.8 in armor. You see my point? Everything's a little trained. And all my spells are overtrained except Ice Beast, so if I'm willing to risk losing out on Ice Beast firing, it's only 3% worse. Yeah, we'll go with that. The increased AC is going to help my case. And now we'll just explore this floor out. Now, a better player than me would probably be more willing to commit Scrolls of Enchant Weapon even now, because... ooh, because at the end of the day, as a mage, my long-term game plan strategy is not going to be about a +9/+9 weapon. My long-term strategy is going to be about good magic. That being said, I'm not that good a player, and I'd rather hold out to have a weapon I'm more happy with. I don't like poison whips in general. I prefer tridents as my main weapon, because I can reach with them. And a trident of poison would be more my choice. Poison in specific because it's great in the early game, and even up through a lair, where my other mage spells are not quite where they need to be. And then after that, when it starts being resisted, I'm going to be doing more damage with spells anyway. Beat you up. Level up. Excellent. Everything's level 3. Alright, so we pretty much have this floor on lock at this point. Again, you see one of those sealed vaults, enter at your own peril, and they'll usually show you what loot there is in there, or at least some of it, to tempt you. Alright, Edmund. Dantes. So yeah, because I'm a Gnoll, training throwing by default, it's very valuable to me to have just rings, or... actually, is there poison darts that I didn't notice? Because those are even better. No, okay. If I missed out on any important armors, nothing that I would actually use. Anything else will interfere with spellcasting too much. And have I missed out... I'm going to go Gazog again, because I just love the playstyle of having all the money in the world. But... and now that food isn't a thing, every corpse dropping gold is really awesome. In the old days, that, you know, every corpse dropping gold was a downside, because barring being a Spriggan, you might need that for eating. Okay, I now have found some armor for most slots. I don't care that that's cursed, it's not negative. Hey, remember those poison darts I was looking for? Booyah. Used to be that they had needles of everything, so that you would have a blowgun aspect of the game. That's been removed. Slings were enhanced a little bit, but they got rid of blowguns altogether. Now it's all throwing, so I have no problem with that. It's just something to be aware of. If you see things like needles of Atropa and Kurari, that's... or, sorry, darts of Atropa and Kurari, that's why. Yeah, until the big guns come here, I'm not gonna suit up. But now it's worth it. Oh, the +5 AC from this leather armor is fantastic. When I have Okuzobus active, I go all the way to 15 instead of just going to 10. That's nice. And part of that is probably just that my spell training has gotten better. Let's switch over to an Axe of Flaming, since poison does nothing here. And then back to my whip of venom. Being willing to switch around weapons is always a good thing, but, you know, it's not necessary. Oh, why did I pick up Degeneration? That's stupid. I'm gonna have to drop that in a second. Okay. Again, one of the big reasons that I use darts in this capacity and so constantly is because they're silent, or near silent. They're very quiet, so it's a great way to attract just one or two enemies and pick them off without having to venture into the darkness yourself and then find yourself surrounded and having to retreat. It's not that I expect the damage to do a lot, but sometimes the damage does do a lot because, as previously mentioned a bazillion times, I'm a Gnoll. Alright. Oh, no, 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 no. That was not the god I wanted to follow. I'm going to leave this faith and enter another. But I'm pretty sure that TSO doesn't mind because it's a holy god that you leave. I don't think that you get good god wrath. And if so, I'm about to have a very short run, but I don't want to play a TSO run today. Okay, this is bad. There's no altar to Gozog here, which means that the amount of time I'm going to spend in is even longer than I'd like. I don't know when I got this book, but I apparently got a spell book that has some basic spells in it, including Searing Ray, which is probably worth memorizing. I'll worry about that later. I need to figure out what conducts this one cares about. Underhanded tactics. This really sucks. I saw the gold altar and didn't bother looking close enough. I should have remembered that TSO is also gold. Ooh, fancy gloves. You know, it wouldn't hurt for me to actually try a new god sometimes. That's what I did when I tried Gazog and I fell in love. But no, I would rather stick with my game plan. The other big thing I want to do is use Absolute Zero, which is the new level 9 ice spell. And it's unique in that it's a single target level 9 instead of an AoE, like Firestorm or Ice Storm. But unlike doing significant damage or massive damage, it's an insta-kill spell. Now, a level 9 spell to kill just one enemy seems very limiting to me, especially since it's not easy to target, apparently. It's always going to target the nearest enemy, which may or may not be the most dangerous or the one you want to use it on. And think about the hunger cost of a level 9 spell and the training difficulty, etc. But here's the thing, all of that has gotten easier now, right? Because there is no spell hunger. And it's just a one-school spell, and I'm a Gnoll, and actually being a Gnoll makes it harder, because it's hard to get one school high. You're kind of doing all or none. But yeah, that's something that in theory I would like to try this run. And I'll just leave it at that for now and see how feasible that becomes. I think this might be the last temple that I would get Gozog at. Let's see. There he is, Gozog. Join? Yes. You have lost your religion. Gozog welcomes you. Yes. Good gods don't generally have wrath. Maybe at higher levels there's some penalty, but certainly not at the lowest level. So let's see what that's done to me. Doesn't specify wrath. Maybe I might be facing wrath with berserked angels, and if so, this run is going to end very quickly. But I don't think I am. I didn't do anything to make TSO upset. Like, you know, stabbing enemies in the back or something. You know, silver might work better against phantoms, I don't know. Notice again, I don't always use all of my buffs. I pick and choose my time and place. But I definitely make lots of use of the ice spells that I have, because that's the one thing I have right now. Okay, you know what? Let's switch to the Hand Axe of Flaming. It's actually going to deal extra damage. There we go. They're all dead. That was a big misplay on my part. I should have been using Flaming the whole time, since I needed a lot of damage and that guy resisted a lot of it. Oh my god, when did you come here? And again, I should have been AC up with Okazobas. In fact, I'll do that now. Okay. So, let's see where we're at. Oh, it looks like somebody has joined chat. Hey, who is this? It doesn't say. I'm new to Twitch. I gotta figure out how to interpret all this stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with some way to like announce when and if I'm joining Twitch or something. I don't know. But I think that it's nice to be able to stream and have things saved. Burn you down. So, all things considered, I think I'm going to default to flaming at this point. My attack speed is below average with this, versus with this, it's above average. Okay, I take it back. I'm way closer to min delay with this whip, so yeah. But I'm going to need to remember to swap it out for the hordes of resistant enemies. For now, we're switching over to darts for my throwing, because I would rather soften up enemies by having them poisoned on approach, since that's also persistent damage if I choose to retreat. Freeze, lock, and kill zone. It's so fun. See, this is the tactical strategy that I used to employ with my fire mages, actually. Oh, howdy, Marvelin. What I used to do with my fire mages is find a one-tile hallway, put up a conjure flame to block the pathway, and while they're forced to stand outside the fire, I poke them or stab them or... Oh! So much money! Gozog is thirsty. How will I even... I wonder what's guarding all that money. I'm about to find out, that's for darn sure. Another bad habit that you guys should not learn from me is I poke around the staircase like this, but then I don't immediately go back upstairs. A better player than me would make a point of exploring around each staircase every time that they go down. It's called triple dip. Go down all 3 staircases and come up. So see how I've carved out a little bubble here? That's all you get. Now go back. I'll poke my nose up too. Oh, free book. The Book of Power! Orb of Destruction! Okay. This is a winning run now. Now I have Orb of Destruction and Spellforge Servitor. So eventually, if I don't find enough mid to high level ice stuff to get past Lair, I can always lean back on Orb and Spellforged to take me literally through Zot, frankly. You can win Zot with just that for your DPS. But for your output, damage output. Okay. So that's the first staircase. Let's check the second. Back away. I think I resist Necro right now, right? Yeah, with my armor. Boom, and then fire, and then hit him a couple times and finish him. Fool. So, how does Gazog work? Gazog has a couple abilities that are passive that are not super that are relevant. Obviously, seeing gold through walls is one of them, which when you combine it with Gnoll's ability to sense certain objects through walls, gives me a fair amount of passive mapping that I wouldn't otherwise have. But the big thing to write home about is gold distraction. There is a set chance, I don't know how it's affected or how it goes up or down, there's a chance for enemies who see gold to become temporarily confused. Not on the level of I've noticed this effect to be much less than Mephitic Cloud. I would say it tends to be 2 or 3 turns at most. But that's often enough to get you out of dodge. The most important passive ability is Gold on Death. Oh, I got shafted 1 floor. That's fine. I know where most of these staircases are. We should be okay. Oh, wow. Triple book exit. I'm scared now. This looks like a treasure vault. I'm going to attempt to find my teleport scrolls really quickly. I have a sneaking suspicion that the moment I open this door, I'm going to be in a fight. Okay. Book of Party Tricks is not super exciting. Staff of Air is irrelevant to me. Ring of Unrad giving evocable flies. I already have a Source of Resist Necro. I'm not really looking for a third. Taking gold is stupid when you're a Gazog because you'll always have more of it. But right now I don't actually have much, and with Gazog you'll always have a use for gold. I guess you could say it's useful. I don't really like any of these, so I'll just take this one. Take the gold, take Geomancy. So, this is another change they've made to the game. There's so many changes they've made. Instead of holding books, you have a library. Every time you gain access to a spell that you would previously have had to hold the book for or memorize, it goes into your library, and you can choose to memorize it whenever you like. Okay, we did not find a giant fight on our hands there. In fact, we found loot and an exit, so this was a very profitable shaft. Let's switch to our dagger and see if we can drain this guy. Or stab this guy. Again, Gnolls kick ass. I have 4 points of training in daggers and 4 points of training in stealth. Even though I'm not or 6 in stealth. Even though I'm not building a stabber at all, I have very reasonable ability to stab. I'm also not an evoker, but I have a reasonable ability to evoke this vein. Every single skill being researched means you're decent at everything. This looks like a trap. It is not. So how do we get to that gold pile? Now I'm starting to get antsy. Get me that money. So anyway, I was telling you the passive abilities. All these enemies turning into gold, obviously that's the passive gold bodies become gold when they die. Midas touch, whatever. The more important abilities are the non-passive abilities. Because obviously there's enough gold in the dungeon for you without needing all this extra gold, right? So the way that they make it useful is, as a Gozagite, you can pay money for very powerful effects. The most basic of these is to petition a potion. You pay a fee, and you have a chance to choose between 3 potions. And I don't know if they put that in your pocket or you just get the effect. I think you just get the effect, but I haven't used it yet. This is getting harder and harder. That Deep Elf Archer is going to be a problem. The rest of this riffraff should die easily enough, but if I get drained before I get my attack off, it's going to be bad. And unfortunately, I got pretty good spellcasting. What do I have in my potion pocket? Might. I might quaff Might here for extra damage. Let's back off. Now we're going to vastly limit the amount of enemies that can attack me at once, and anyone who does is going to have to be beaten by my icicles. Okuzobu's armor is good, and we're going to go ahead and whip out my flame axe, I think. For now we'll just stick with this. Well, the next several enemies are immune to poison, so yeah, flame axe is fine. You're not immune to poison, so boom. And the biggest thing to worry about is that elf, and he's about to come to us. The biggest difficulty is going to be if he decides to stand back, which he well could, since he's not, because he can hit us from range. There you go, that was a pretty big hit. I'm going to go ahead and get an Ice Beast online in case I have to beat a hasty retreat, and a second one in case I get, drained. There are even more scary things in here. A Rakshasa, a Boulder Beetle. I'm getting pretty heavily attacked. If I had a teleport, I would use it, so I'm going to randomly teleport. Oh, I got a Blink Scroll. This is a decent time. I don't think I'm going to win this fight. I think I'm going to lose this fight. I could hold the corner a little while longer, but eventually these guys will overwhelm me. So we're going to back off. Because I don't know how much more deep this fight goes. Close that door. Used to be you couldn't close a door if there was something in the way. Now attempting to close a door will instantly push everything out of the way. So that's nice. I want to get this stuff, but I don't want to die trying. And it looks like it's just a lot of money, so I can come back here later, I guess. Back to the shaft. Because I'm starting to suspect that whole gold gauntlet that I saw is a disconnected chamber. AC up, and passive attack, and beat everything to death. Cool. Poison, 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 poison. Ice walls. Once again, for anyone watching, this is on the Crawl a Craziac server. Anyone who wants to come and watch, chat, or observe there is more than welcome. And obviously you won't have the same lag that Twitch gives you as a result. This is bad. On the one hand, I'm being incentivized to stand my ground so that I don't break all of the ice hands. On the other hand, the most obvious thing to do against a centaur shooting you is to not take damage. So I'm gonna break and walk towards him. Just to, yeah, because I don't want him shooting me from range. I'm never going to be using plate mail of poison resistance. Plate mail is too much of a pain to train with a Gnoll anytime soon. And by the point in the game I could be trained in it, I would be using something else anyway. Come on. So these aren't boomerangs, obviously. They're not coming back to me, but the point here is exactly as before, to soften them up before they arrive, and then have them walk into the frozen ramparts and die. A Tengu warrior, they're really throwing heavy-duty enemies at me, am I? Oh, I'm on D9. Okay, that explains it. I got him poisoned, that's what I wanted. Freeze, freeze, and start knocking him out. So, Ice Beast is an interesting spell. I don't know if the formula has changed. Back when I used to play, it was really detrimental to use summons early on, because your experience would be almost cut in a quarter, or cut in 3/4 or in half, depending on how much damage they were doing and how much you were doing to kill stuff. So if you could kill things without summoning, you would get a much better early game spike. Obviously, summoning is safe because you can back off and let other things stand in the way of harm. So, hence part of the balance, I guess. So, yeah. But now, with a Gnoll... Sorry, so with an Ice Beast, the reason I still take that spell every time is I want the ability to put an air gap whenever I need to. Ooh, a +5 robe is an interesting prospect. It's good armor, which is what I want. It's obviously going to be outclassed eventually by some better artifact, so it's probably not worth 500 gold in general. But as a Gozagite, I will always have the gold. Probably. So I would rather have +5 AC and casting in robe for a long time. So that's on my shopping list. Helm of Intelligence, well, certainly would like plus intelligence over anything else. And +2 boots with flying. Yeah, that's nice as a passive. And here's the thing. That's going to cost 1,000-ish gold. That's pretty much all the gold that you would get from now until Orc in a typical non-Gazog game. But because of Gazog, I'm going to be making hundreds of gold per floor. So I'm not actually too worried about this loss. And this allows me to become empowered earlier and stay empowered later. Oh, I'm cursed. Whatever. Let's remove the curse so that I can put on my new boots, please. And now I have 18 base AC, which is fantastic for a mage. And I have 1% cast on... 5%, whatever. I have excellent casting on everything, and let's see what new spells I can pick up. Stone Arrow is a reasonable pickup here. Directed damage at a distant target. Searing Ray is probably pretty good against, because my whole game plan is to put roots down where I'm standing and attack out, right? Bolt of Magma is interesting because it's a triple school spell, and I'm working on all 3 schools at once, so I'm going to get that online way before your average player would. I think for now I'll just think about it, because the thing I really want is the ability to disable a Dangerous Unique. Dazzling Flash is reasonable for that, but I have decent damage output in this quad that I have right now. Do I have Amnesia? I don't have Amnesia. I'd like to get a Scroll of Amnesia that I could use to disregard one of these eventually, and I don't know, we'll think about it. One of the downside of not having chosen a pure mage god is you don't have any of the guarantees that they usually give you. Vehement virtually guarantees you that you'll get a nice string of summon or conjuration related spells, if that's what you're looking for, as well as bonuses to your conjuration. It just occurred to me something. What is my skill with bows? I have average attack speed with a bow already. I could totally switch over to archery. I'm not going to do it yet, but I'm going to keep this in my pocket because if I'm in a situation like a Bailey, it'll be nice to have actual ranged weaponry that actually works at range instead of just darts. And I might very well hit a Bailey, I don't know. I think it can spawn at this depth. There's a dangerous unique. Not super dangerous, but yeah, see? He stepped on that teleport trap that pushed me into the room. Now he's dangerous. I'm going to back off into the corner and ice up, and then kill them both. I forgot that I have a bunch of AC. Look, with my Okazobus, I have 27 AC. I'm not a gargoyle. I'm not level 20 or something. I'm friggin' mage in a robe. Who the hell gets 20 AC this early? And even if this robe will eventually be outclassed, because I'm on Gozog, I will always have more cash to get another one or buy something else fancy later. So the purchase sets me back less. Last time I ascended a Gozog run on a 3-rune game, I think I had 20 or 30,000 gold. Alright, I only went through some of the things you can do with him. So, getting a potion costs like 400 gold, so you don't want to spam it, obviously. But, oh, snaps. I do have a hand axe of flaming, so that isn't going to be game over for me if that guy gets to me. But it's not going to be easy to deal with this many. So I'm just going to put my summon down and then get out of dodge. You know, we'll do this. I think I might just win this fight actually outright, but certainly slowing down the Hydra on approach will be a good starter. If the Hydra's dead, I'm not even worried about these guys anymore. I'm not actually attacking the Imp because I want the Hydra to die before he reaches me. There we go. And now he can just be frosted to death. What a good spell. Like, seriously, Mephitic Cloud would have won me this fight, but so did Blizzard. Freezing Ramparts. I mean, look at this. The amount of damage they dealt before they could even reach me is phenomenal. We never actually checked out that spare ring. I can't believe I forgot. Let's just go ahead and do that now. RF with a penalty. It's actually a bad ring, not a good one. We'll keep it off, but hot swap if we need resist fire. MR is always a nice thing to have. +6 strength, I don't actually think it matters that much to me. Let's keep MR passively. Actually, I think the strength might help my damage on my axe. Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all pointless. All those rings are pretty much irrelevant. They're small bonuses that I can probably do without or with, and it won't matter. Okay, so let's just quickly clear this out. Freezy walls. Everything must melt. Well, freeze. Okay, so that floor is cleared. Back up, since this was all based on a shafting, and ooh, we're even closer to the money than I thought. I think. Now that we have a safe retreat beneath us, it's even easier for us to explore here and see what comes of it. I don't have a dig wand, do I? Because that would be too fantastic. But I do have acid. An acid wand is really good for me right now. Okay. Let's take a look and be ready to run. And get an ice beast just in case. Okay, so the boulder beetle is here. He was never the scary one. Okay, I take it back. That is a ton more damage than I thought he could do. And he jumped away. That's his prerogative. I feel pretty good about 27 AC. How much damage can you deal in one bite? 32. So he can't kill me in one hit. Now he can kill me in one hit, but it would have to be a really good hit. My GDR probably saves me a lot of grief here. Okay, that was the bad bite. We're gonna heal wounds. There we go. He's done. Noblemen can differ about whether or not that was the right move, but I was pretty sure I had that fight. Deep Elf. This is just pure classic summoning play. Back off, wait for things to come to you. Okay, they're not coming to me. Always keep him handy. The Rakshasas can go to invisible, so let's quickly get this handy. I'm not worried about MR here because none of these guys can affect me that way. Let's once again attract them to my corner. Good. Good. Oh, there's more than one of them. That explains a lot. And somehow I've been slowed. I didn't realize that was a thing that could have happened to me here. Maybe MR would have been better. Okay, I think we've cleared out most of this. I don't think we ever actually dealt with the Rakshasa though, so need to be ready for that to pop out at us. There he is, hiding in the gold chamber, as he should be. We're just going to take him on. I think at this point he's mostly doomed. Well, obviously when I say take him on, I mean we'll do it optimally. Sucks for you, but my axe hits all three of you. Okay, there we go. We got ourselves our first amulet, a bunch of money for killing all them, and a bunch more money just for having been here. Though it does look like they may have picked some of it up. I don't think they can. I don't actually know why it's missing. Amulet of Faith, interestingly, does not matter. Gozog doesn't care about anything but money. There's no such thing as piety. So it's a meaningless pickup. Ooh, a Vorpal shortbow. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. So, Vorpalized shortbow is an excellent source of damage on approach. And, it looks like... while I'm far from min delay, I'm definitely training in that direction. How much of a delay am I talking here? Average attack speed. Yeah, screw it. Let's go for it. Let's use this thing. Again, part of the fun of being a Gnoll is getting to just experiment and try everything you pick up because you're reasonably trained enough to try. Look at that. If I had been playing a Deep Elf right now, there's no way that I would just randomly try a Vorpal shortbow I picked up because I would probably have been putting a few points into the weapon that I had picked up earlier. Whip, dagger, axe, one of those three. And then I wouldn't have bothered using anything else. But instead, I was able to branch out and try all three, which is the fun part, you know, using what you pick up. But the reason it's more than just fun and it's a skill is because it's an advantage and an actual in-game skill is because it lets me be more proactive in doing optimal play. I'm able to take on what the dungeon gives me and get more out of it than I would have been able to if I hadn't. Oh, looks like someone else joined me. So yeah, that's all good stuff. Anyway, we're gonna keep shooting these guys. My time is pretty much up. I expect my kid to wake up shortly, and when he does, game time is over. But I'll probably try and get a little bit more of this later on tonight. Again, I'm not necessarily going to always be streaming when I play this. There are going to be times I'm not able to get the whole dedicated quiet time set up in order to do that, but I figure I should stream a little bit. And again, I'm on the Crawl of Craziac server, so if you're looking to catch me playing, that's the place to be. And I love chatting with folks here when I can, because there's no lag, and so I can actually catch things. Oh, howdy, Slentus. No, that is not fun at all. Still, the fact that you're running a Gnoll all the way to Ziggurats, now that's telling. I chickened out and ascended my Gnoll at 3 runes because I think it was like my 10th Gnoll and the second one that got off the first couple floors. And I was like, yeah, I just want to secure a win, and then I can try fancy stuff. This one is going to learn Absolute Zero. That's my goal. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, how far I want to take it will depend on what I feel like. I haven't found Petition Potion to be particularly useful, to be honest. Maybe in Extended it's more valuable. I mean, certainly it'll be more valuable than in 3 rune, but... For me, it's being able to demand shops show up. And being able to buy any artifact you find seems to be the biggest advantages. Not to mention passive... Ooh, hang on. What's that you got there, Maggie? Hell Knight, Dangerous, 10 damage, plus the Glaive, Bolt of Fire. You know what? We're just going to throw on this Resist Fire ring really quickly here. And... make the halls a little bit more advantageous to us. She got distracted by gold. That saved me an attack. But I'm gonna die if she manages to connect with that glaive. I should really potion up here. I'm just gonna potion up here. Good. That was a good use of the condenser vein. I forgot I had it. I'm glad I used it briefly. Okay, we can break armor and run now. My god, she woke up half the floor. You know how I was just talking about triple dipping the stairs and hugging the stairs and playing safely? This is why you do that kind of stuff. So that when you're in this situation, you know you're not more than 10 steps away from a staircase and you know exactly where to run to. Okay. But, I mean, we survived it. Sure. She was wearing acid dragon scales. If I had fired acid, that would have been bad. Interesting. I've never attempted extended endgame without necromutation, which is dumb, I know. It's a sign again. I've told people this before, I've said it in channel, I'll say it again. There are great players, there are good players, there are bad players. I'm a good player. I definitely am a good player. I can win a Minotaur 10% of the time easy. I know how to get through the game, but I'm not a great player. I don't know how to cut corners, and I don't know how to make it work without having really OP stuff. That being said, the game will always give you OP stuff if you just know how to force it to happen. So for me to learn even one new build is pretty cool. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Spamming it would literally... Because I don't... Yeah, we can win this. We're going to close the door first. That gives us time to armor up and ice up. And now they're going to have to hit through a ridiculous AC, and now they're all dead. Perfect. The reason that was scarier than it looks is because if all three of them hit you at the same time with a smite, they can deal 60 damage at this stage of the game pretty easily. And then if you decide to turn and run, you can't, because they will all keep smiting you. This is a good hallway to fight in. I'm going to back off to this corridor here, and this is where we're going to make our stand. Because I can keep pelting them with arrows, and they can't come at me. Good. Again, I want to point out, fun of being a Gnoll. I didn't have to be on arrows in order to use the short bow. I didn't have to be on axes to use the axe, the whips to use the whips, and I still have decent training at all of them, but the whole time my magic is still going up. And when I start memorizing these spells, look at this. All the spells are available to me. I can go conjurations, I can go summoning, I can go confusion. No, that's not the right word. Here's another way to think of it, the mathematical approach. There are, what, 28 spell schools, give or take? Skill schools, give or take? 4, 8, 12, 15, 20. Let's call it 27. There are 27 skill schools. Suppose that on an average character you really want to max 4 of them, right? This is bad. Hang on, I gotta pay attention. These guys are coming at... There we go, gotcha. Suppose on an average character you want to max 4 of them, right? So that's 4 schools you're pouring all your heart and soul into. On a Gnoll, those 4 schools are going to get trained 27 divided by 4. So if your skill aptitude is plus 8, 8 divided by 4, your skill aptitude is still roughly plus 2. That's really good. You're not training at 0 for everything, because you're training at a bonus for most everything. So yeah. Okay, at this point, I think I've found access to the Orcish Mines and the Lair, so I've got access to just about every major secondary branch that I should be taking, but I have no resistances, I think. We're gonna remove this ring. I think it was stealth minus, yeah? I don't need that, thank you very much. Actually, keep the positive energy until it's not worth keeping. We'll put on MR at baseline. So, where to go next? I could clear the next floor down pretty reliably. Is there any book that I haven't picked up yet? Oh yeah, let's go back. So, remember all those vaults and floors that I was cautious about? At this point, I'm probably strong enough to just godsmack those. So we're going to actually take the time to travel back and do all of the stuff that I skipped. Now, starting with the floor that has Sigmund on it. Granted, I don't have a disable spell for Sigmund yet, still, but I do have enough life that I can afford... There's my teleport scroll. Now I'm in good shape. I do have enough life that I can probably afford to deal with him. If he does manage to confuse me, I have a cure pot that I've identified, and I can always just do that and make a bear, and then, yeah, he's got to deal with a bear. It's going to be so hilarious if I die to Sigmund after all of that bragging. But no, like, legitimately, there's no reason he should beat me. Yeah, look at that. He's getting hosed from range, and we're just going to go ahead and ice up, and armor up, and... oh, you are invisible. Lucky for me, I waited long enough to be able to do this. Oh, shoot, I should have kept Will. Yeah, I picked the wrong one to lose there. We'll just do that. Never mind, the wall killed him before I could hit him. It never ever hurts to take your time on a fight and crawl. Some of you might be newer to crawl, clearly not you, doing zigs and all that, but one of the most important rules of crawl, and any roguelike, but especially, you know, classic roguelikes, nowadays roguelike means nothing, there's 100 roguelikes out there, is you do not have to fight every fight, and you most certainly don't have to win every fight, and you most certainly do not have to win every fight when you get to it. It's way better to take your time and do a fight when and if you feel like it, when you're ready, when you know you can do it. I don't know about this ghost, but I'm pretty sure a Deep Elf Conjurer has got nothing on me. And I have a Telly Scroll if I'm wrong, so let's go in. Oh yeah, he's got nothing on me. This is going to be a nasty zone for them. Look at that. They cannot approach for 2 tiles in any direction without being hit by ice walls. I'm not locked in here with you. You guys are locked in here with me. And they're all dead. I'll casually strut out of this net. Ooh! Int +7. Int +7 halberd, eh? Let's take a look at this thing. But it will contaminate you if you remove it. And a halberd is a shitty weapon. Even for me. Bonus to will, bonus to int, and poisonous. So, there are 2 ways you can view this. One, if I put this weapon on, I'm pretty much set for the entire... I could keep this weapon on for the whole lair and never take it off, and that would be totally fine. Also, we're going to totally take that Spear of Electrocution and ditch my Trident of Nothing instead, because Electrocution is a cool ability. We're also going to ditch the Whip of Nothing and the Dagger of Draining. There we go. On the other hand, I've got a nice thing going here where I can peg enemies with arrows, pelt enemies with arrows from range till they approach, and then finish them off. And I would hate to lose that over nothing. Let's finish IDing some of these things. Thank God, I identified the mutation. Now I've identified all the most important potions to identify. The rest I can kind of take my chances. I don't mind getting invocations up even faster. It's not necessary, but it doesn't hurt. Actually, it's useless, because Gozog doesn't care about invocations. But it doesn't take away experience either, so... Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, right. This halberd. Int +7 is a nice boost. That will get me higher level spells faster, more power to my spells. But then the moment I take this halberd off, I'm taking damage, so I'm basically not weapon swapping. I can probably deal with it and then cancel out once. So do I want Int +7 badly enough to sacrifice flexibility? Well, there's another way to answer that same question, and that is, let's take a look at my spells. 7 more int means that I would be getting Iron Shot? No. All those 19s would probably become immediately castable. I could become a Blaster caster and go Battle Sphere with Magic Dart pretty quick. But I'm good. I don't think I need this. I think I'm more than solid with where I am. I'm going to keep this in my back pocket as an idea, but I'm not going to actually trigger it yet because I don't think it's necessary. So D3 has been cleared, D5 has not. Let's go down to D5. Oh, right, I can't get out. There we go. D5. And there was a translucent doors blocking a unknown, and he looks like a pretty decent fight. What's this? There's nothing of value in there, so it's just for the experience, but I'll take it. We're going to begin by icing up, icing up, icing up, and then opening the door. So we've completely set the field of battle to our advantage before he even showed up. And it doesn't look like it's enough, because he is hitting like a truck. There we go. It is enough. There's nothing else in here? No. Sad face. Okay, whatever. Now that we've dealt with all the exclusions, we can move on with our game. I don't think I'm going to use the intelligence boosting halberd, because just to be clear, if I was not playing a Gnoll, it would be an even harder choice, because remember, at that point I would be hyper-focusing on using Majory for everything, and int plus 7 to basically ignore my weapon slot is a very good deal. Damn, I didn't want to lose this flexibility yet. I actually like all these spells. I might lose some in Ice Beast in favor of something else, so let's see if I want something more than that. I don't have another summon option, and I really do like the ability to summon chump blockers and damage boosters at a whim. So I think I do have to keep that. You could argue Isekundrun's Battle Sphere, but I don't have any Conjuration, I don't think, that would trigger it, so I would have to take 2 spells, which would be even harder to unmemorize. Yeah, we're probably just gonna keep Ice Beast. A better player than me a worse player than me would not memorize it yet in the hopes of finding another spell first. But the better thing to do is realize that Amnesia Scrolls can be found more of, and I've got 15 spell levels. It's better not to be in a situation where I wish I had a summon, but I'm gonna die because I don't have any summons memorized. Okay, let's keep poking the dungeon, because clearly it hasn't gotten too hard for us yet. Gloves. Are we wearing gloves? We're wearing +1 gloves. Oh yeah, why did I pick up those acid scales again? Oh, no, that was not what I wanted to do. Although apparently it didn't reduce my spellcasting capabilities very much. And what kind of AC is this offering me? It looks like it's offering 6 with an encumbrance rating of 5 versus my robe, which is offering 2 and 0. Still would decrease my AC, and they both have resist corrosion. I think what this is telling me is that I've trained armor enough that I can afford to consider wearing this. Well, here's the deal. Right now, every spell I'm casting, it's fine. So if that becomes an issue later, I will switch back. But for temporarily, these two do the exact same thing, and one of them has a better AC. So this is not even a choice. This is a one choice. This is a one decision. You know what? Here. Let me finish you. So, because Crawl has to pretend like I don't know that there's a monster right there, it keeps warning me that I'm going to break my ice if I take a walk in that direction, and of course it doesn't. Also, I don't know, push here, it's like... That's bad. That guy can petrify me. Let's stand in a place where if he does, I don't mind being there. And me. And pretty much whenever they start hitting melee with me, I start freezing them. See, this looks more like the floor the lair is on. I'm surprised it's above here. These are all lair enemies. Often found doing lair guarding. Okay, the crowd is thickening. Let's armor and freeze. There we go. Keep the walls up. Whip out the spear and start poking past my summon. See, this is why I always like having a ranged weapon in this situation especially. It lets me continue to attack without readjusting for when enemies are not right next to me. And especially with the Ice Mage, where you often are trying to root yourself with all of the Okuzobu and ramparts, it's even more important to not have to move in order to do damage. What? Oh, it was a mimic shop. Lame! Okay, what do we get here for my new ring? Yes! +6 int. We'll take it. Ring of Ice. So now I have the ability to hot swap RC or RF on demand, but I don't have... I could technically wear both and have an ice booster on with just a cold resist, but I would rather have the +6 int and a free ring slot. So we'll stay on +6 with magical power for now, but yeah, I'm going to keep those rings until I have a stable source of resistances at least. Keep locking everything down. How long have we been... Nice! So, I used to play a whole bunch... I just saw the comment. I used to play a whole bunch more of Crawl than I do now, and I actually have a channel, YouTube Bounty Hunter SAX, I think, and I would post there, because I would play online primarily. And now I'm thinking maybe I'll start doing this instead, because Twitch is now much more easy to use than it used to be, for me at least. Whoa, bad. I don't know what's invisible, but it's right here, and I don't like it. Okay, alright, sounds like my kid's up, so that my time is over. Let's kill this unknown horror. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And, yeah, so again, next time I'm on, I'll try to stream, but, you know, I can't guarantee it. It depends on situation. So there may be a situation where I just give a quick recap. I give a quick recap on what actually happened off stream and then continue playing on stream. But, yeah, absolutely, thank you. Definitely recommend you subscribe. I'm not as constant on Twitch as I am on the Craziac server, which I'm going to try and do all my games through from now on. So if you ever see me there, hit me up. And if you've never heard of it, look it up, Crawl Craziac. It's definitely one of the best ways to play Crawl these days. Get good web tiles interface, if that's what you're used to, which is definitely what I am used to. And great people playing, often very high level play, as well as very low level play and everything in the middle, which is pretty much perfect. My focus has been, and generally still is, to teach, so you can expect me to explain lots of what I do as I go. Alright! End of first streaming session, but so far this Gnoll has shown no sign of slowing down. He's found a great passel of spells. Orb of Destruction and Spellforce Servitor can beat your endgame no problem. I have most of the tools I need for the lair, although I am lacking poison resistance. I do have Flight. And thanks to Gazag, I've got enough gold to buy anything, and I haven't even touched Orc yet. So yeah, likely going to be that the death was my fault or a win. We'll see how things go. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.